Hello and welcome into this week's edition of Your Next Favorite Driver right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, first off, welcome. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. Those are the series that we cover at the moment. Eventually, we do have plans to broaden that scope, but for now, that is what we cover. So on tonight's episode of Your Next Favorite Driver, we are highlighting young, up-and-coming future superstar in the world of NASCAR, Miss Natalie Decker. She currently drives in the ARCA Racing Series for Venturini Motorsports in the number 25 N29 Capital Partners Yamaha Power Products Toyota. She's had a very good start to the season, won the pole in Daytona as well as finishing a strong top 5 there in 5th. Also picked up a top 10 this past weekend in Toledo as well. Toledo is actually where we were able to catch up with her and ask her some questions about her background and her future. So let's get into that right now and introduce you to Natalie Decker. All right, we're here with Natalie Decker, driver of the number 25 N29 Capital Partners UMAX Toyota for Venturini Motorsports. Natalie, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So, on this show, we introduce you to new fans that may not know you yet. So, we'll start off with just your history here. So, what got you into racing? Everybody's got that story. What got you started in racing?
I feel like mine's probably a lot different than a lot of other kids that got started. I come from snowmobile racing. My whole family, my grandparents, my aunt who's standing right over there, they all race snowmobiles. So I grew up around snowmobile racing, and my dad owns the World Championship Snowmobile Derby in Eagle River, Wisconsin, and that's where I went to high school and grew up. And then I didn't want to race snowmobiles. I was like, a little cold, and like there's no roll cage. But I found out what NASCAR was and like go-kart racing at a very young age, and I told my dad, I was like, that's what I want to do. I was like, I don't want to race snowmobiles, I want to race go-karts. And so that's how I got started.
All right, so what would you consider your biggest accomplishments up to this point?
Well, winning the pole at Daytona, that is probably my biggest accomplishment right now, but there's a lot of other smaller ones compared to that, like a few wins that I've had that just stand out a lot to me just because they were really hard to get, and it was like a last lap pass at Marshfield. Dalton Zier, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, Dalton Zier. I was passing him last lap, and it was like the craziest pass, and like I think it was the closest finish there at Marshfield Speedway in Wisconsin. That is probably one of my favorite feature wins.
All right, so you're 20 years old now, so 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be in 10 years?
Ooh, that's a long time. In 10 years, I'm going to be 30. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we'll start with 5 years from now. How about?
Okay, that works.
5 years, I would hope to be in the Cup Series. In 10 years from now, winning championships in the Cup Series.
All right. So, looking forward through the rest of the season, obviously you are running a full schedule for Venturini Motorsports this season. Are you doing anything else where folks might be able to see you? Any local tracks, anything like that?
I am definitely doing the full season with Venturini Motorsports. I know I want to do super light races back home in Wisconsin, and we still haven't put together a schedule. We get really busy here now the next couple weeks, but at the end of the year, we're definitely going to race our super light. We just don't know when yet. And
lastly here, before we let you go, where can folks find you, whether that be social media, website, whatever?
It's on here. NatalieDeckerInc.com is my website, and all the links to all my social medias on there. I recently started a YouTube channel. There's a lot of fun videos on there. There's going to be a good one after this weekend. We were driving here, and a rock flew up and hit our radiator, and we were stuck on the side of the road and stopping every mile to pour water in the radiator. And we finally made it to a dealership, and we have a rental car. But that's going to be a good video that's coming up on the YouTube channel.
All right, well, I'll definitely have to check that one out. All right, so that was Natalie Decker, and we'll be back with more Your Next Favorite Driver in a moment. You can actually catch Natalie in action tonight as the ARCA Racing Series returns to Charlotte for the first time in 14 years for the General Tire 150. That will be this evening at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. You can find out everything you need to know leading up to that race on the ARCA Racing Series preview show, which will probably go up here in about 3 or 4 hours. So you want to check that out to see everything you need to know ahead of tonight's General Tire 150. That is, unless you're watching this not today, later on, in which case the race has already happened and that this info doesn't really do anything for you. But I'm sure if that's the case, there is a race upcoming very soon that you can see Natalie in and make an opinion for yourself and see if maybe she is your next favorite driver. So I think that will do it for us tonight. Like I said, the ARCA Racing Series preview show will go up here later this afternoon. I'm going to try to record it immediately following practice, which is supposed to end at 1:30 this afternoon. That'll give it a little time to actually get up, and so you can have all the info you need prior to the race, because if we wait till after qualifying, it's going to go up like right as the race starts, and it's going to be kind of useless. So it will probably be about 3 or 4 this afternoon, depending on how quickly it gets recorded and edited. So I'll try to get that up for you as quickly as possible this afternoon. We want to thank Natalie Decker again one more time for joining us on today's show. It was a pleasure talking to her, and I'm sure that won't be the last time we talk to her before this season is over, as I'm sure she will see a lot more success throughout the rest of the season. If you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing from Racing News Now. Hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated. And don't forget to support us on Patreon. It's not required by any means, but we really appreciate it when you do. It's patreon.com/racingnewsnow. It just helps us continue to grow and give you better quality content into the future. So with that, this has been your next favorite driver, introducing tomorrow's stars to you today. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.